1995 with Marvel Comics, and it gets weird. Next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. We had our 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and in case you missed it, please contact us. Contact us on Instagram at Bronzeville_comics. Third prize was Stevie B's House of Collectibles. Second prize winner was Tasmanian Bearded Pop Hunter, and the grand prize winner was Daryl Ploss. Please either contact me on the channel or on Instagram and give me your contact information so I can mail you out your prizes. Looking forward to the next giveaway. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics, coming to you with another Marvel 1990s video. This time it's 1995, and I guess Marvel's still making payroll at this time. Things aren't terrible yet, but the big boom has gone. And Marvel is kind of struggling, and they're changing up the way they're doing things. They did acquire Malibu Comics with the Ultraverse and Rune and some other characters. And really the reason they acquired Malibu is because the owner, Scott Mitchell Rosenberg, had developed a computer coloring process that Marvel wanted to get their hands on and use in their own books. So this list is very strange. They were kind of experimenting with their titles, rebooting some, going to other stuff, alternate universes, and so on and so forth. So, and one of the big aspects of this is runs that were ending. Let's start with number 10, and that's Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, one shot. This book sells for about $152 in a CGC 9.8, about $30 raw, and it's an alternate universe where Frank Castle's family is killed as bystanders in a superhero supervillain battle, and he wants to take revenge on the superheroes, and he kills them. Not part of the mainstream universe. The high sale back in April was $175, and there were $235 sales in March. Those are the most recent 9.8 sales, so nothing in the last number of months, and a record of $195 goes back to 2017. I'm not sure that this has any traction in terms of something that we're going to see on the screen. It would be really unusual, but you never know. Number 9 on the list, and it's yet another Venom miniseries. There's so many Venom miniseries at this time, and it's Carnage Unleashed number 3. Number 3 is an issue that's kind of hard to find. It goes for about $159 in a CGC 9.8 and about $15 to $20 raw. There were just 2 sales in a 9.8 in 2021, $175 in June and $142 in April. We're going to move up to number 8 on the list. Punisher War Journal number 75. This cover by Mark Teixeira, which prominently features Lynn Michaels, who briefly served as the Punisher. Average sales in a CGC 9.8 of $168, and raw sales into the $25 to $30 range. There was recently a $175 sale in January, and you got to go all the way back to February of 2021 for a $168 sale. Number 7 on the list is Amazing Spider-Man Super Special number 1. Average sale in a CGC 9.8 is $182, $20 for a raw sale, according to cover price. This is the origin of the alien symbiote. And what Marvel was doing at this time with Spider-Man is they were not dissimilar today. They were kind of rebooting the books briefly for like a month or two with the Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly. And then they went back to the regular Spider-Man titles. But in the meantime, they had a bunch of these specials. And this is one of them. They had amazing specials and spectacular specials, all sorts of stuff. There was a $166 sale of this book in October and a high sale of $215 in March. And you can see a lot of these books don't sell frequently. They're not exactly Amazing Spider-Man 361s. You don't see them all the time. This is an interesting book at number 6. And it's Sergio Aragonés' Gru the Wanderer number 120, which is the final issue. Average CGC sale of $188 at a 9.8, and it goes for about $50 raw. These final issues are harder to find. They're scarce. There was a $199 sale in July, $185 in May, and $160 in April. There have been a few sales, and we know that there's going to be a Gru animated series coming up, and that could potentially give this book a little bit of a bump. Number 5 on the list, Rogue #1, which has had average CGC sales, but they're all over the place, of $205 in a 9.8. But you could probably get it like for about $10. You might even be able to find it in like $5 bins or less. It has this foil cover, a little harder to get in 9.8. There was a $95 sale in December, but in October there was a $250 sale and a $99 sale. So it's a little bit erratic. I have to believe that we're going to get Rogue in the MCU at some point, and I think they probably will explore her relationship with Gambit. They did a nice job with her in the Fox pictures with Anna Paquin playing the role. Number 4 on the list, and this is really the last superhero title. It's Venom Sinner Takes All #3, which sells for an average CGC 9.8 of $287. You probably have to pay $50 to $70 for a high-grade raw copy, and it's the first appearance and first cover appearance of She-Venom. Anne Weying, Eddie Brock's girlfriend. The most recent sale, just this past month in January, was $339, and the high sale of $375 in October. This is one of the few books on the list that does have a number of 9.8 sales. Another one that has a decent amount of 9.8 sales, number 3 on the list, Gargoyles #1. Average CGC 9.8 sale of $401. You're going to have to pay about $50 for a raw copy in high grade. It's based on an animated TV series that was on the Disney Channel, and it's recently come back on Disney Plus for people to re-explore and find out about again. There was a $404 sale in November. That's the most recent 9.8 sale. The high sale of $1,000 back in April. And I know there's some people that really like this this particular book. Number 2 on the list, even stranger than Gargoyles. It's Earthworm Jim #1. Average CGC 9.8 sales of $597. About a $200 book for a high-grade raw. This was a 3-issue series. There haven't been any CGC sales of issues 2 or 3, which both came out in '96 cover dates. It's based on a video game that was an animated show on the Kids WB back in the mid-'90s, and there have been rumors that there perhaps there's an animated series in development. Last month in January, a $745 sale, a $500 sale in December, and a $350 sale in November. So this does have a number of sales, and this is probably one of those books that a lot of people don't know what it is, because it's not a superhero book, so it's not something that pops. It was, until I did the research for this list, it's a book that I would just look over if I saw it in a dollar bin at a flea market. And issues 2 and 3 are worth picking up as well, because not for fair market value necessarily, but if you could find them in nice condition on the cheap. Number 1 on the list, and this is there have only been 2 9.8 sales in 2021 of this book, and it's Akira #38, which was the final issue of the series. Average sales in a CGC 9.8 of $1,150. You're going to have to pay about $250 or $300 for a raw copy. Very scarce. Print run was very limited on these. And that's kind of a common trend with a lot of these. Marvel was not doing well financially in 1995, and they were cutting corners. And before they out-and-out canceled titles, they were decreasing the print runs. And so this did have a sale of $799 in October, and back in May it had a sale of $1,500. So all these issues of Akira kind of these later issues are hard to find, and people are paying a premium for them, or they have been. Issue 35 goes for about $270 in a CGC 9.8. We're now on to our honorable mentions. In issue 37, $375. Um, the Another book that only had one 9.8 sale just this last month. It's Blade the Vampire Hunter number 8, which has this Blade Morbius cover. I'm not sure the way that the cinematic universes are situated that we're going to see these two characters together. We're going to see both of them very soon. And it might make sense if Blade's going to hunt vampires. If Morbius is in the MCU, he's going to hunt them. But this cover, there's been one sale in a 9.8 in January 2022. That's the only 9.8 sale I've found in the last month for $625, which would place that number 2 on the list if it was if you could duplicate it. Another final issue, Savage Sword of Conan, number 235. The magazine had a sale in the last year. One sale in 9.8 of $245. Darkhawk, number 50, the final issue of that book. A sale of $239 back in May for a 9.8. And that is a book that goes for about $100 raw. Punisher 102, this classic bullseye cover by Frank Turan. No 9.8 sales since 2020, but it is about $150 sale in a 9.8. $30 or $40 raw. Amazing Spider-Man 397. It's a book about $5 to $10 raw, but has sold for about $150 in a 9.8. It's the first appearance of Stunner, but it also contained a white Power Ranger card. That might be driving it. X-Man number 1. The most recent sales in October were $145 and $150, a high of $185 in June. So that just missed the list. You could probably get it for under $10 raw. It was a book that was pretty heavily printed. It's an alternate reality where the title character is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. So he's essentially a version of Cable. I believe eventually his history and Cable's history got intertwined. We're not going to see X-Man, I don't think, on the big screen. Rune Silver Surfer, one of those crossovers between Marvel and Malibu. That had one 9.8 sale in December for $135. Cosmic Powers Unlimited, same, December $135. Spider-Man 2099, number 35 is the first appearance of Venom 2099. Will we see Venom 2099 in the animated stuff? I doubt it, but you never know. That book could pop. Sells for about $130 in a 9.8, about $30 or $40 in a high-grade raw. Gargoyles number 11 was the last issue. Sells for about $130 in a 9.8. Raw copies, high-grade raw copies, about $50. And remember, Gargoyles, Earthworm Jim specifically were books aimed at kids. And we see this pattern over and over again, especially in the 90s. Collectors took care of their stuff. In the 80s, too. We don't see that necessarily with Thundercats or Masters of the Universe or Alf or Batman Adventures or Batman Beyond or Gargoyles or Earthworm Jim. Number 11 was the last in the run. Punisher was rebooted and had a new volume. That did have one sale in 2021 in a 9.8 of $130. Raw sales are about $2 for that book, so that's kind of an outlier in the 9.8. I'm not sure. Darkhawk number 49, also a highly sought-after book. You're going to have to pay about $60 for a high-grade raw. That's kind of the fair market value. About $120 for a 9.8. And then Spider-Man 400 was the death of Aunt May. Not really. About $120 for a 9.8. Had this tombstone cover. Had a couple different covers. That one is a little bit more sought after. So that's our list for 1995. Let us know what you think. Please comment, like, subscribe. We did just hit 1,000 subscribers, and hopefully we're well on our way up to 1,500. I believe this video is coming out right before the Winter Olympics. I'm trying to get these videos done so I can concentrate on just watching the Olympics for a couple of weeks and get my videos done. These require the most time, these Marvel videos. So if you like this, what was DC doing in 1995? You can check out this video. And if you want to see the winners, if you want to see Marvel from 1994, check out this video. This is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.